Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Tommy with Elevation Every Weekend here. In today's video, I'm going to show you the brand new Surly corner bar. And essentially what these are like an alt drop bar that's designed to be used in place of a standard traditional mountain bike flat bar setup. After I cover just a few basic points here, I'm going to show you these installed on my 2020 Surly ice cream truck. I'll give you some feedback on that process, and then I will show you them in action and let you know what I think about them. So what is the primary purpose of these bars? So the main purpose of these is to give a drop bar option for people that have mountain bikes, but the tubing size of these bars is designed to be compatible with the brake levers and the shifters that come on your flat bar mountain bike setup. So it's no longer necessary to settle for buying a actual road bar or gravel bar setup and then having to update your shifters and your brakes to fit those bars. And as you can see here, and you'll see on the bike, these bars are actually wider, which makes them better suited for the varied kind of terrain you would be experiencing on a mountain bike or a fat bike, and having that extra leverage necessary to better work with mountain bike geometry. These bars are made out of chromoly steel and they're ED coated in black for protection. And basically what you see here is how they came in the box, and they were reasonably priced at $100. The bars are designed with the 25.4 millimeter stem standard in mind, but they ship it with a set of problem solver shims so you can go up to the 31.8 standard and adapt it if that's the stem you have. Surly offers these bars in 3 different widths, and they're measured from hood to hood at 46 centimeters, 50 centimeters, and 54 centimeters. Because my application is going to be bigger tired fat bikes, I wanted a little more leverage, so I went with the 50 centimeter medium size. So hopefully that ends up being a good choice, and I'm excited to give them a try. So stay tuned, because after the jump you will see these on the bike, and I'll give you some impressions on that installation process, and then we're going to get them out and ride them. Alright guys, here are the 50 centimeter wide Surly corner bar installed on the Surly ice cream truck. I did use the stock stem. I did need to use the adapter for the 31.8 millimeter size, so that is in there. Installation was super simple. All I needed to do was remove that, take off the stock bars. I set them on a table nearby the bike, put the Surly corner bar in with the adapter, locked it back down, and then I just moved over each item. So that's my dropper, there's a left front brake, right rear brake, and the shifter is on that side of the crossbar. So looking at it, it does look pretty sparse. I do have ESI grips and grip tape that I'm going to install, but I wanted to do a few rides and really experiment with the positioning of all of the accessories. I wanted to make sure I had that exactly where I wanted it before I went all the way on and installed the grips and the grip tape. So right now I just have a set of standard mountain bike lockout grips on that I had laying around, and they're doing fine for now. So yeah, there they are installed. And let's get out on the trail and give you some ride feedback. Okay, so we're rolling on the ice cream truck with the 50 centimeter wide Surly corner bar. That's the distance between the hoods. I initially intended this to be my first ride impressions, but this is actually my second ride on the bike. The first ride yesterday, it was actually brutally windy out here, and it would have been impossible for me to talk, give any feedback. On the upside, getting it tested in that wind was actually good. The ice cream truck is not normally the bike I would choose to ride on a windy day, just because it's already heavy at about 35 pounds. And with the huge tires, rolling resistance, it's not a whole lot of fun when it's extremely windy. But it was a really good test with the corner bar, because I did notice it was much easier to ride into the wind, which really kind of surprised me. And then riding with a really strong tailwind, especially any kind of cornering, the bike actually handled fairly well, so carrying a lot of speed with this bike, it still felt stable and comfortable at speed. So as I kind of mentioned, I'm kind of in a temporary setup with my grips, just because I haven't finalized the position of the brakes and the shifter yet. This hand position right here, I can't reach the brakes really unless I stretch up, but this is actually a really comfortable hand position. It actually feels significantly more aerodynamic than riding the flat bars. And I'm actually really pleased with the steering and the handling of the bike. Like it actually does pretty well considering how big and heavy this bike is, the mass of the front wheel and tire. It's not a huge compromise. I think the shifter is actually in a really good position. It's easily accessible to upshift from my thumb, and downshifting into the harder gears is Really easy with the trigger side, but I do think I could bring the shifter down a little bit and still move the brake to the other side. Doing this type of riding, which is literally gravel grinding, these bars are actually really good. This hand position is nice and aggressive, a little more aero, and I still am in a really good position to put down power on the pedals. It feels like a really natural position for this type of riding, even on this fat bike. Riding in the hoods, which is something I would normally do on a drop bar bike, is possible. You would definitely want some padding up there. And I think if the brakes were moved to the other side of the crossbar, it would make it even more comfortable. But it definitely works. Also gives you, at least where the brakes are now, the opportunity to modulate them a little bit. The third obvious hand position, so you have down here in the drops on the hood area, and then up here on the crossbar, it's pretty much no different than riding up here on a flat bar bike. And I actually do ride up here quite a bit when I am in the flat bars, especially if it is windy. But of the three positions, the most different and the most impressive is down in the so-called drops. And I really think having this wider flare, you get a lot of the benefits of riding in drops. But on bigger mountain bikes with mountain bike geo and a bike even like this fat bike, you still maintain some really good control with that extra width. We have a section coming up here, which is a hairpin corner, and then a fast downhill, and then a climb. Nothing too crazy, but should be a good test. See how much different these feel than the flat bars. So nothing dangerously fast on the downhill, but the bike was totally stable. Felt completely normal. Climbing in this position also feels really good. I probably would not choose these bars for any kind of technical trail riding, but as time goes on, I'll certainly be testing them more, exploring their limits, hopefully not exceeding them. I'll say the same thing about snow too. For the snow riding I do with this bike, I would definitely prefer the flat bars. Alright guys, so thus far my review at this point for the Surly corner bar is very favorable. They're outstanding. I would say on this bike, which again, 35-pound heavy fat bike, big tires, I'd say the corner bar is a improvement. I can say I would actually prefer the corner bar for 80% of the types of riding I do. So as a result, I will give it an 8 out of 10. The other 20% definitely flat bars, and that's technical trail terrain and of course snow riding. I suspect on other bikes, smaller tired bikes, they'll be even better, maybe even more versatile. Speaking of other bikes, my purpose for buying these corner bar are not for the ice cream truck as much as I'm enjoying it on this bike so far. I bought these explicitly for use on another bike in another combo with a different concept in mind. So definitely stay tuned to the channel if you want to see what that is. So if you found my fat bike take on the corner bar helpful, definitely drop a like down below. Any questions or comments or feedback of your own, definitely drop those down in the comments down below. If you do want to see what I have planned for these bars long term and how I like them long term, definitely subscribe to the channel and follow along. Lots more fat bike content coming, and the days are getting shorter, so we'll be back in the cold and the snow before you know it. Thanks a lot, and have a great day.